guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be chatting all about makeup brushes. I have tried so many different ones, drugstore ones, high-end ones, and I've done a couple videos like this in the past, but since then I have tried out so many other brushes and I've discovered a lot of really good ones. So I wanted to compile all of my favorites and bring you guys all of my go-to affordable makeup brushes, because I really like, as much as I do love a lot of high-end makeup brushes, you really don't need to splurge. And these are the brushes that I feel like if you do want to spend your money on, they are more affordable, but they're going to last you a while and they're great quality. Also, these brushes are available as we speak, because a lot of brushes that I do use on my channel, unfortunately, they are limited edition or they have been discontinued a lot of the time. So I wanted to get brushes that you guys can still get your hands on, but that are amazing quality, that are affordable, you know, all that good stuff. So make sure you grab a snack. And if you are new, please subscribe to my channel for new videos every single week. And let's go ahead and get into it because we got a lot of brushes to go through. Okay, let's start off with the first brush kit. So this one right here, I have it in this mug. This is from Colourpop. It is the Smoke and Roses brush set. It comes with a brush belt and it comes with, I think in total, like 12 or 13 brushes. And by the way, Colourpop brushes, 10 out of 10. I think they're great. I've used them for years. They're really good quality. They don't shed and they're really great for a lot of different makeup applications. Whether you are a beginner, you do everyday makeup, or if you do more intense looks, I feel like their brushes can really get you where you need to be. And this brush set I love because you get both eye and face brushes. So it is very convenient and I feel like you get pretty much enough brushes to do your makeup for like an everyday makeup look. So the first brush that I have here is the F28. I really like brushes like this for powder and for bronzer. So if you're using this for powder, this is not going to give you any coverage. It's just really going to give you a light dusting of this on your skin, just because it is so fluffy and soft. So it's not really going to pack on the powder or give you a lot of coverage. It's just going to very lightly set your makeup. So if you don't like a lot of powder whenever you do set your makeup, brushes like this are ideal. Versus, for instance, if you're using a powder brush like this one, which this one is from Flower Beauty, by the way, but if you use a powder brush like this to set your makeup, it's going to give you more coverage and it's really going to pack on that product because the brush is so dense and it's more flat. So it just picks up that product a little bit more versus a fluffy brush like this, where it's going to give you just a really light dusting of that. And then also for bronzer, I think brushes like this are great because it gives you such a pretty sun-kissed look. It is a little bit bigger, so typically when I apply my products with this, I like to kind of press it in and then I will swirl the bronzer around onto my forehead in circular motions. So that's kind of how I like to use brushes like this. It's great. It's so soft and fluffy. The next brush that I have is the F30. So this is another multi-purpose brush where I feel like you could use it for different things. So I think this brush, for me personally, I really like it for contouring. Like, let's say I bronze the skin and I want to concentrate my bronzer in a more specific area on my face. I think this is the best brush for it because it picks up just the right amount of product and it fits really nicely in smaller areas of your face, but it's still a little bit of a fluffier brush. So it's great for blending products out and it still gives you a very diffused look, and it fits so nicely on the outer perimeter of your face, or even just to like chisel out your cheekbones. It fits perfectly right in this area. You could also even use this for blush if you want to like put your blush on right on the apples of your cheeks. This next brush is my favorite for blush, and this is the F21. And typically brushes like this that are angled, they're called bronzer brushes, but I really like this for blush more because it's so fluffy, it's angled, so as you're applying your blush, you can kind of blend it upwards, like towards your bronzer, towards your temples, and because of that shape, it kind of just disperses the product so easily and so effortlessly that it almost like does the blending for you when you're applying your blush. There's a brush that I love from BH Cosmetics that is so similar to this one. It was from a limited edition collection, but you can see it is like basically almost the same exact thing. Like it's just an angled fluffy blush brush that you could also use for bronzer as well, because it does fit into this area really nicely. But I feel like for blush, it is just the most perfect brush. And I used to not use brushes like this for blush, but something about the shape, I love my blush so much more ever since I started using a brush like this. So this one is definitely my favorite. Almost forgot to mention the F9 brush from Colourpop. So this brush I feel like is so nice for a ton of different things. You could use it to apply, let's say, a primer or moisturizer or something if you have long nails, or if you want to do like a really light layer of like a tinted moisturizer, or just anything that you want to just very lightly apply to your face. This is such a nice brush. You could also even use this for highlighter because it is a stippling brush, so it's really lightweight, very fluffy, so it'll pick up your highlighter and give you a really nice glowy finish. You see how pretty that is? But you could also build it up as needed because of how lightweight and airy this brush is. It doesn't pick up a lot of product, so you can build it up as needed and it gives you such a soft look. every single time. I love this brush. Now let's talk about the eye brushes in this kit. So the first brush that I have here is actually a spoolie. This one is the E12. So for me specifically, I use this for my little flyaway hairs. Whenever I apply like my edge control, I will just take this and kind of just run it through with the product wherever needed on my hair. But you could use this for your brows, obviously, and I feel like a good spoolie is just a must in your collection no matter what. So this is a nice little addition. The next brush is the E6. This is an angled brush, and I love brushes like this whenever I'm doing, let's say, graphic liner. You could also even use this to fill in your brows. I think it's just a really good, thin, very pointy angled brush. You could also even use this if you're doing any eyeliner with your eyeshadow. So you could use like some Scotch tape or your e.l.f. eye tapes, and you can just run some eyeshadow right on the edge of that and give yourself that winged liner look with eyeshadow. So I feel like brushes like this, you gotta have one. When it comes to this and a spoolie, like these two are a must. The next brush, and my favorite brush in this kit, is the E2, and this is ideal, of course, because it's a big blending brush. So this is good for everyday makeup or just blending out colors in your crease. It is the perfect size, and I'm pretty sure this brush comes in like all of Colourpop's brush kits, but it's truly the best blending brush. It reminds me a lot also of the Sigma E40 blending brush. This is probably like honestly such a good dupe. So this is the Sigma brush here with the blue handle, and then the other one is from Colourpop, and they look so similar. So I do feel like it is a really great alternative to that one. And then I have the E9 brush. So this is a smaller, more dense, fluffy brush. And I feel like brushes like this are perfect for adding a little bit more of a darker color out on the outer part of your crease, or if you just want to concentrate a specific shade on a more particular area on your lids, whether that be your crease or like your lid, if you're doing like a halo smoky eye. This is just a nice brush that fits perfectly in the crease, but that's not too fluffy. This is a nice brush, and you can see comparing it to the other one that I just mentioned, it is not as fluffy, so it is better and more ideal for, like I said, maybe darker shades. And then I have the E28 brush. This brush I love for applying a color right in the inner corner of my eyes or even on your brow bone. It's so small, but it's like the perfect size, especially if you're like me and you love a really bright inner corner highlight. This is the perfect brush. It fits right in here and I love it. Another really good tiny brush is the L1. Brushes like this, I feel like it's just, they're good to have because they're small. So if you're doing, again, a more specific eye makeup look, maybe some graphic liner, or you're working with glitter, or maybe you just want a little bit of one specific eyeshadow and you don't want to use a big brush for it, it's just a nice little brush to have. And then we have a couple different flat brushes, and flat brushes are my favorite for packing on glitters, like pressed glitters, pressed eyeshadows. The first one that I have here is the E4. This one is a little bit bigger. I personally don't like this big of a brush whenever I'm putting on a shade on my lid, but it could work. Let's say you're carving out your crease, or you're working with somebody who just has bigger eyes, bigger eyelids, or even if you're ever putting on like concealer or a corrector under your eyes, I like this brush for that as well because it's a little bit bigger and it's more flat. It's kind of like a paintbrush, so it's good for really just like layering and just applying on any liquids. So the E3 brush, I like this specifically for carving out the brows. Just something about the shape of it. It's a little bit of a longer, pointier, flat brush, so it just makes it very easy to clean up my brows and get them just how I like the shape. And then I love the E18 because this is a good brush for packing on shades all over your lid. It's a really nice size. It's small, but it's not too small, so this is even ideal if you do want to cut your crease. And then the smallest brush is the E26, and this is also a flat brush that you could use. I personally don't really love it for the lids, but if you have smaller lids, you could use that for that, or you could also even take any eyeshadow and put that right on your lower lashes and kind of like press it down, and then take a fluffy brush, for instance, like the E9, and then blend that out. And then you have a very smoky, diffused lash line. So the possibilities are endless, especially with flat brushes. You could do anything with these, and they're nice to have, and it's good to have different sizes, different shapes. That's why I love this brush kit, because you have a little bit of everything, but you also have brushes that you're gonna get some use out of. It's not like a lot of filler brushes, you know, like a lot of brush sets I feel like come with brushes that you're not even gonna end up using. But this is like a nice kit where I truly use all of the brushes, and they're such nice quality. So that is the Smoke and Roses collection from Colourpop. Now I want to quickly talk about these brushes from Shop Miss A. And the reason I wanted to mention these is because these are more eye brushes. I love having a lot of different eye brushes, again, for different makeup looks. And I feel like you can never have enough fluffy blending brushes. Like if there's one kind of brush that you have multiples of, let it be a blending brush. I love this little brush kit from Shop Miss A. It is so affordable. It's like $10. I'll pop a picture of it right here. It's incredible. These are amazing quality. I have washed all of these, and if you need some good eye brushes, these are it. You get a bunch of different fluffy brushes. They're all different sizes. They're great for, again, different makeup looks. If you're going smoky, if you're going natural, if you're going colorful, I think this is just a nice little kit. Even if you, let's say, get this one from Colourpop, I think it's worth also getting this one from xoxo because of the variety of fluffy brushes. So the first brush is the E125, and this is from AOA Studio, by the way, on xoxo. I love this brand of brushes, but this brush is actually perfect for nose contouring because it's fluffy, but it's also angled, so it picks up the perfect amount of product and it fits onto the nose area like effortlessly. So this is a great brush for that. I don't really like this for the eyes personally. I feel like it's a little bit too big, but for nose contouring, incredible. The E126, ooh, love this brush. It's fluffy, but it's also kind of dense, but it is such a great blending brush. I like this for darker brown eyeshadows. The E127 is a little bit fluffier, so I like this for bronzer in the crease, or if I'm just doing 1 or 2 shades in the crease, keeping it really, really simple. This is also great for just blending out any harsh edges of your eyeshadows. So this is very also similar to that Sigma blending brush that I told you guys about. And it's also similar to the one that comes in from Colourpop. But again, I feel like you can never have enough fluffy blending brushes, so it's like it's never too much. So I love this brush. And then another one, this is also a good Sigma dupe. This is the E128, and this is also similar to, I think it's called the E25 blending brush from Sigma. This is like a spot on dupe, and I really like this for darker browns or even black eyeshadow right on the outer edge of my lid because it fits really nicely in there. I have the E132 up next. This one is small, dense, very fluffy, but again, very dense. So I also like this for the inner corners, for the brow bone. You could also even use this if you want to smoke out your lash line. Such a good size, so it gives you that really smoky, diffused look. And then I love the E129 because it's more of a flat, fluffy brush. So this I think is perfect also for the crease. It fits really nicely on the outer part or even all over the lid if you want to pack on like a really nice brown eyeshadow. This is such a good brush. And then you get also in here the E133. This is a good angled brush with a spoolie, great for pomade if you're like me and you like to fill in your brow still with a pomade or with a brow powder. This is a nice little brush. And then we have the E134. This I really like for gel liner or if you're using glitter liner, like more specifically whenever I'm doing looks where I want to put any eyeliner in this part right here, like literally in the crease of my eye. Brushes like this are my favorite because they're so tiny, so you could be very, very precise. And then we have the E131, and this is another flat brush that I really like for cleaning up my brows, but you could also put a shimmer all over your lid or even a matte color right all over your lid. So really, like I said, you could do whatever you want with these brushes. There's no rules when it comes to your tools, so do whatever works for you, but this is a great brush set. I love it so much. I would repurchase it. So those were the 2 brush sets that I have. The other brushes that I'm going to mention are all single brushes that you buy individually, but I love them. First brush is a newer addition to my brush collection, but I love it for foundation. I have actually 3 different foundation brushes here. I know it's extra, but I want to give you guys some options. So first, this is the Real Techniques, specifically the Instapop face brush, and this is the 202. And I really love this brush for foundation because it gives you such a smooth airbrushed application. The size of the brush makes it so easy. Like when you put on your foundation, I feel like it blends it out in like 2 seconds. So yeah, this is one of the best brushes that Real Techniques has for any foundation, whether it's like a full coverage foundation, a matte foundation, a light foundation. This gives you the most beautiful, smooth application every single time. I also wanted to shout out the Hailey's Beauty Brilliant Kabuki brush. Love Hailey's Beauty, love their brushes, and this brush specifically I feel like works with any foundation, any tinted moisturizer, any liquid product that you're putting on your face. This will make it look completely flawless. So if you like more of a rounded, dense brush, you will love this one. The brush shapes are a little bit different. For this one, obviously from Real Techniques, is more of like an angled flat brush, and this one is more of like a domed classic foundation brush, but this also leaves you so smooth and streak free. A lot of brushes like this, you can kind of see the streaks on your face, so sometimes you have to go in with like a sponge or something after, but with these 2 brushes you don't have to worry about that. What I love about this Hailey's Beauty brush as well is that it gives you maximum coverage no matter what product you're using. It won't absorb any of your liquid, so it's going to give you good coverage. Something about the bristles, the brush, I don't know, it does something to the foundation. When you put it on your face, it does something. It's good. So both of these I love. I can't pick one. Don't make me choose. I can't. And my all-time favorite brush, I think, in my entire makeup collection is the e.l.f. Complexion Duo Brush. I rave about this brush all the time, and I feel like if there's one brush that you get in today's video, let it be this brush right here. So I love this for foundation, but I'm gonna be honest, I do use these two foundation brushes more, and I use this more so for creams the most. So this brush, again, you can use it for foundation, but I specifically love it for cream bronzer and cream blush. And if you love cream products and you don't have this, add to cart right now, or go to Target, go to Ulta, go to Walmart, get this brush. The shape of it, the bristles, first of all, it's a dupe for this IT Cosmetics brush, but I'm sure you already knew that. The concealer brush on the IT Cosmetics one is a little bit softer and fluffier, I will admit, but this is $48 and this is $8. So the differences are like very, very tiny in comparison to the price, because the fluffy part of the brush, this part, is almost identical to this one from IT Cosmetics. So such a great find. I love the one from IT, but this one from e.l.f. is it. So yeah, this brush just applies all of your cream blushes, cream bronzers flawlessly. It looks so smooth and it makes it so easy to blend, and it gives you the most beautiful diffused look. So if you struggle with your cream products lifting your foundation, try out this brush. It is a game changer, like completely. I personally really love this with all of my cream blushes, but specifically the Putty blushes from e.l.f. I feel like a lot of people complain about that, like they don't blend or they don't get a lot of pigment, but you gotta try it with this brush and it will look so flawless. This brush is also great with powders, with powdered foundations. I love it with the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. So it really is like a brush that you could use for anything. You could use it for liquid foundation, powder foundation, cream products. And then the other side is really nice too for nose contouring, for blending out concealer in more specific areas on your face. Like the list goes on. I mostly use this side of the brush, but it is so worth it. I have like 3 or 4 of these in my collection. It's the best. Another brush that I love is the Real Techniques setting brush. And of course, this I love for setting my under eyes. I love the shape of this as well because it gets right in there. So you can really pack on that powder and press it down and set your under eyes beautifully. You could also, I feel like, even use this for the tops of your cheekbones if you want to apply some highlighter because of the shape. It's very fluffy. And the brush that I typically use for highlighter is this one from Anastasia, but you can see that the one from Real Techniques has like that very similar shape. So this is another good 2-in-1 brush. It's like $8, but I love it. Like I said, for the under eye specifically, it's my favorite. 3 more brushes that I wanted to mention. I have this Crayon Case 03 brush. This is another flat, thin, almost like a paintbrush. And I know I mentioned a ton of different flat brushes from the Colourpop Brush Set, as well as the one from Shop Miss A, but this brush is my holy grail, and I think this is like the best flat shader brush because of like the bristles. It's like I said, it's kind of like a paintbrush, so it really, out of all the brushes that I have, it really packs on your glitters or like your pressed chrome pigments on your lids in the best way possible. This is like the closest thing to like a finger that you could possibly get, to be honest. So typically your fingers will apply glitters and shimmers the best when you're putting them on your lid, but this brush also gives you like that finger effect, but with a brush. And I think it's just because of the bristles and because it is so thin and so flat. So this is available on the Crayon Case on their website. It does come with 3 other brushes, which I like, but they're not my favorite. I like this brush the best. I think the brush set is like $10. So essentially it's like $10 for one brush. But if you do need a good flat shader brush, I wanted to shout this one out because it is so good. 2 more brushes that I have here are from e.l.f. The first one is the Flawless Concealer Brush. And this is a nice addition if you like fluffy brushes like this. Again, for concealer. I love this for the inner corners right here in this area if I want to blend out or even add more concealer if I want to kind of lighten this area up. And I also use this brush every single day to clean up the concealer around my brows. It just blends it out flawlessly. This is also kind of like a makeup eraser brush. So whenever I have really dark eyeshadow on, or I have very colorful eyeshadow on, and maybe this area right here looks a little bit too dark, I will take this brush and very lightly just diffuse out that color. And every single time, it literally is like a makeup eraser. Like it looks so much softer, and it'll remove a lot of like that darkness that you have in this area just because of the size and the shape of it. It's fluffy, it's dense, and it really is like a magic makeup eraser. Like it diffuses your products out effortlessly. I have a ton of these. I've been using this brush for years. I also really like it for blending out my eyelid primer because I have longer nails. This is just a nice brush to have just because it's a must. And when you guys get e.l.f. brushes, they might look a little crazy in the packaging. You know, they might be flat, they might not be as fluffy, but you have to wash them and then use them up. Once you start using them up after like the first 2 times, the brushes become fluffier and they become more full looking, and they just start to apply your products way better. The last brush that I have is also from e.l.f. and it is the angled eyeliner brush. And this is just that. It's small, it's angled. So I really like this for gel liner or also for glitter liner because it's angled and it's tiny. So I feel like it fits into most eye shapes. And I always like to have extra tiny brushes like this just for, like I said, more specific eye looks. Last but not least, let's talk about some other beauty tools. So sponges. I definitely love my beauty sponges and I think e.l.f. makes the best sponges at the drugstore. Personally, I've never had any issues with them. I love the Camo Concealer Sponge the most. This is perfect for blending out your concealer on your under eyes. Very soft and squishy whenever you do get it damp under the sink. And I also love the Total Face Sponge. If you like to blend out your creams with a sponge, this is such a nice sponge. This also doesn't absorb a lot of your liquids, but I'm such a brush person now. I prefer my foundation with a brush more, but this is a really nice sponge if you want to ever switch it up or you just want a good sponge. I also really like this for the under eyes as well. Both of these, I think you cannot go wrong with either or. It just depends on the shape that you like. And the final beauty tool that I wanted to mention are these little triangle puffs, which I'm sure you guys have seen these all over TikTok, but I really like these because they do such a nice job at setting your makeup, especially your under eyes, or if you want to touch up, you want to keep one of these in your purse. They're really easy to clean. I usually just take my big bar of soap and I will just take the little puff and kind of just rub it as if it was like a beauty blender or something directly on the soap, rinse it out, let it dry, and it's like as good as new the next day. And I believe these come in like a pack of 10. Like, it's super affordable, so you can always have a couple extra on hand, but these are really nice to set your under eyes. So if you want to skip out on brushes, they're also really great for touching up. So you just dip into the powder and you can set your makeup and it gives you just the most beautiful Photoshop look. Like, I can't get over it. I love these little puffs. They're amazing. They're also very soft. They feel like little mini marshmallow pillows when you put them on your face. So those are all of my top favorite beauty tools, makeup brushes. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a lot of brushes, but I wanted to give you guys some variety, a couple different brands, and show you different options. But at the end of the day, you can use these brushes for whatever you need when it comes to your makeup routine. There's no rules, so do whatever works for you. And feel free to like use your brushes for multi-purposes because you don't have to just stick to one thing when it comes to one brush. You can always mix and match and have fun with it. So hopefully this video was helpful. All brushes and everything will be linked down below if you guys are interested. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.